Hey everyone, welcome to Argo's live Q&A. This is Captain Jeff, and with me tonight I have Argo Ambassador Dave Rowe. If you haven't joined us in the past few months, Dave has been with us for a few years. He's a full-time cruiser and knows everything about boating there is.
You flatter me, Jeff.
Certainly more than your average boater. So we're ready for any questions you might have on Argo, on boating in general. Dave's got his boat right now. He's actually on his boat. He's down in Wilmington, North Carolina, and a little warmer down there, I guess. It's probably nearing boating season, if not already boating season.
Well, it's 64 degrees out right now, and it was in the 70s today. Where I actually just got off the road, Jeff. I was down in Hilton Head in South Carolina. Actually, I woke up in Statesboro, Georgia, staying with a friend, and then I drove to Hilton Head to look at a boat. I'm thinking about buying another boat. This one will be for sale soon.
Dave's got a 39-foot Bayliner, and for him, it's that's his house, and it's getting small, so he's looking to upgrade something a little more comfortable.
Exactly. So I have my eye on something that's down there, and I don't need a bidding war, so I'm not going to tell anybody about it. But if I get it, it's going to be great.
I'm also in the looking for a boat. My wife and I would love to do the loop, but we're both so busy. I'm certainly busy with this app right now, so we've put that off a little bit. But there for a while, I was looking for a new boat same time as Dave, and we had to be careful we weren't looking at the same boat. But he's looking for a little bit bigger than me.
Right.
So let's talk about Argo.
Let's do that. I said I'm looking for a house.
Let's talk Argo.
Like, yeah, let's talk Argo.
Yeah, I guess I want to know from you guys, how is the app working? I mean, we're here to answer questions. We'd love to hear from you, and I know many of you haven't hit the water yet. But you're planning routes, things like that. I've always been somewhat reserved in terms of promoting the app because as the developer, I know all its flaws, and although you can't not market, you can't push the app. I've always been fearful because I know what's not working or what features aren't in there yet. But I will tell you, I am pretty happy with how it's working right now. It's not perfect, and we do have some issues we're still resolving, particularly after 2.0 came out. And I've been hearing from users by email, and we can talk a little bit about what some of the bugs are, what we're doing to fix them. But we're here to answer questions. So let us know how it's working for you, or any frustrations that you have in trying to get the app to do what you want it to do.
Well, we do have a question already lined up here, Jeff. Maybe we should dive in right here.
Yeah.
Jonathan is asking about if we are anticipating any issues with NOAA weather going forward with all the changes that are going on in Washington, and any other options for us as far as weather goes. Go ahead.
That's a good question. We haven't prepared any backup plans at this point, but there are other weather options. I think if NOAA goes away or NOAA pulls available forecasting, that's going to impact not just us, but a lot of people. That's a good question, and maybe we should have a backup plan in mind. But right now, we're banking on NOAA being available
The downside, and I'm not talking about this from any sort of political position, but the downside is if you go to any of the weather apps, whether it be Predict Wind or Weather Underground or Windy or any of the big ones, they're all pulling the bulk of their best data from NOAA. So if NOAA were to shut that down, presumably would have to be turned over to somebody in the public sector who could continue to keep the satellites in the air and the predictions running. Otherwise, bad things are going to happen. We need good weather forecasting. We can't without storm forecasting. We can't be without. I wouldn't go offshore unless I knew that I could depend on the weather forecast. So, it is a concern, but it's the same concern everybody has right now, including all the weather apps. So,
Yeah. I'll just add one thing. We are talking with someone about bringing in crowdsourced wind data. They've been crowdsourcing this data for 10 to 15 years. They've got really good forecasting. And we were talking about not just wind data, but maybe a wind layer that we can put on Argo. So, that is something that, it's providing better forecasting data than you might get from NOAA, because they've been forecasting and developing this forecasting model for a number of years.
right. All right. Well, Sailing Newbie is asking here. They're working on a planning a voyage. The name of the harbor town wasn't in the database, but they were able to pick a nav aid as the starting point. Can you add places to the database? Anybody can add places to the database. Argo is a crowdsourcing platform above all else. So yes, absolutely. If you have a place that you need mentioned, you can create a pin. And then from that, you can turn it into a point of interest and set it to public. And we will, it will go through the back office, and we'll do due diligence on making sure that all the data are there. And if it should be a point of interest or what it should be. And then it'll be there for everybody. So,
Yeah. I mean, if they're looking for a town or a city, we don't have every town and city in there. We have marinas, restaurants, inlets, over 150,000 points of interest. But you can add a town or city, or you can at least request that we add that for you. Ideally, we'd like to have as many of the waterfront towns as possible. So if you're not finding a town, look for a marina or some point of interest in that town, and it'll route you there.
Yeah, they're elaborating that it was in Canada, which also could be
Yeah.
part of the problem. It's our database is not as we haven't been in Canada as long as we have been everywhere else. So we're working on that.
Well, you've gotten emails from me. If you've asked for support, you may have heard from Dave too. You can email us directly. We can get that point of interest, that town, in there for you within hours.
That's true.
You can also drop your own pin, as Dave said, but hey, we're here to help. And if there's something that's missing, we'll get it in there quickly.
Yep, absolutely. And that email address, of course, is support@argonav.io. So anybody can just write us a message that way, or you can go through the help section in the app and fill out the help form that's in there, and that comes to both of us as an email as well. So what else is coming up, Jeff?
Well,
we don't have one right now. We don't have one right now, so let's continue teasing people with what's coming up.
Yeah, we have a release coming out in the next couple of days. It's going to be filled with quite a bit because we haven't had a release in a few weeks, but we're still working on the captain's log, allowing you to modify your existing routes. We're adding the distance and duration for each waypoint, so you can see that within your route details. If you do select a point of interest, like an anchorage or a marina along the way as a waypoint, rather than just be numbered as one of the other waypoints, you'll actually see the icon, the marina or the anchorage icon. It's just a small change that we made. And we'll be making it a lot easier to go from the captain's log to actually starting a voyage. Just one click and you could be starting a voyage. We also have added the ability to copy a route from within your captain's log. So if you like a route, but you'd like to modify it, you can create a copy, quickly modify that route. So we're getting pretty close to finishing what we wanted to do with the route editing within the captain's log. But pretty much anything you can do when you create a route, you can now do within the captain's log. So you can create one, a week later, you come back, modify it, and then start your voyage. Some other minor things, I imagine we have mostly premium users here, but maybe that's a false assumption. If you are a free user, we currently don't allow you to do an auto route, but we are going to start giving you a glimpse of what the route would look like. So in some ways, maybe teasing you with how good this auto routing is. But in the near future, you'll be able to click on the auto route. It will create a route for you. Unfortunately, at that point, you can't really do much with it. You can't use it to start a voyage, things like that, copy it to your captain's log. What else? I've always found it frustrating that I can't find my friends, fellow club members easily on the map, find out if they're active on the app, find out if they're moving. That is being made much clearer, so it'll be pretty easy. They'll be at a much higher zoom level compared to all the other boaters. If you've got friends or you have an affiliation or part of a group, you'll be able to see those members and like I said, very easily find out if they're active on the app. Right now, and that's not going to change, you won't show up on the map unless you're on the water. You're not going to show up if you're heading to Walmart or something like that.
That's good. Sailing Newbie also asks, they'd like to see time, fuel used, etc., available for saved routes in the captain's log. Looking forward to the update.
I think that's all there.
I thought it was too.
Yeah, when you save a route, you can see your fuel time, your duration, your distance. If you choose to change some of your boat information, your buffer, your speed, it will immediately update within the captain's log. You can even change your boat within the captain's log. You can change your route and then see the adjustment to the fuel used. So those kinds of things you can do. Some of the boat information, like you said, the fuel consumption, you can change it within the captain's log, for that route only. But yeah, it currently gives you a lot of that flexibility already. We're just improving it.
Right. Well, Glenn here is saying that he's only tested the newest version on the ICW and the speed is greatly improved. Yay. He's tested the new route creation, and that is too much improved. He's hoping to test it offshore within the next week or two when away from cell and internet service. So how is offline coming, Jeff?
Yeah, offline improved as well, but it was really just the first step. We currently to create an offline chart, and really when we're talking about an offline chart, we're only talking about the depth data. You already have all of the nav aids, rocks, markers, things like that. Any icon is already resident on your device. So we're just talking about downloading the depth data, the depth contours, things like that. We improved that to where you can download it within 20 seconds, and it's about a 40-mile square area. It's still pretty small. We're not happy with that. So we are in the next few weeks going to improve that so you can download a much, much larger region. If you don't want to sit there and wait for it, you can put it in the background. You can go on and do other things within the app, and it's going to download it, while you're doing other things. So that's something we're looking forward to. And I think it'll be a much flexible way of selecting, areas that you want to download for your chart. So that's coming. I don't know if Glenn was using an Android device, but that is an area we've really focused on improving in terms of speed. We had a keyboard issue where it was not only blinking, but it was creating a lot of lagginess with the app itself. That was fixed. We had an issue where if you tried to select a point on the chart as a destination or part of your route, a waypoint, it would snap to a different icon, a nav aid, a marina. That was fixed. So, you can much more easily tap on the water and it doesn't snap to a nearby icon.
That's great.
We also had an issue where it was auto recentering on someone. That got fixed as well. So, not typical for here in the US. We only have about 25% Android users, but we've really focused on improving the performance so that it works for iOS and Android users as well. And something that's coming, and it is affecting, I think, some users with older devices. Our cursor and a few other things within the app are taking up a lot of the CPU. newer devices, you won't see a difference, but some of the older devices, it's causing some lagginess. Some individuals are even finding that the GPS is not as accurate, and I think it's all related to CPU. So we'll see, but that's something that's we're going to be testing right now. Hope to have it out in the next week or so. So doing a lot, before the boating season hits for the majority of the U.S. to make sure the app is really working well. We want it to be a trusted app.
Exactly. Our good buddy Jonathan here just suggested that I point out that if anybody wants to hit like on this video, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, that would help us a lot. And if you are on YouTube specifically, subscribing to this definitely helps get more people hearing about Argo and seeing the cool stuff we're doing. And that doesn't cost a dime. You can do that for free. So it just helps us out. Let's see here. We have Glenn asking here when we expect the NMEA edition to be released.
Now, did you set that up, Dave? I don't know.
I didn't.
That's the question
didn't.
Dave has been asking for, seems like a year and a half or 2 years since he joined. Yeah, we're actually pretty excited. I think Dave is too. We are now working on NEMA. Dave has been testing it for us. It's actually going a lot quicker than we thought. We're already pulling in a lot of the NEMA data that you might expect, GPS data, coordinate data, speed, depth.
Yep.
Actually, I have a test build for him to test out tonight with AIS data. So
I can't wait.
Yeah, it's getting it from that point and then displaying it on our app is another step, but it's really going pretty quick. So timetable wise, my goal was April 1st. I think it will be there in April. I don't know if we'll make April 1st, but I think sometime in April you'll start to see some of the results of our work there.
Yep. And he was asking specifically, I guess he's an Android user on both phone and tablet. So everything we're doing on both iOS and Android at this point. We're trying to keep parity between the two. So you should see it in both places about the same.
I think Glenn was saying he was really finding that the performance has improved, and he was saying, it was an Android that he was using.
Gotcha.
So
gotcha. Let's see here. Will you do internet AIS also?
Good question. I'll let Dave talk to that, because there's definitely some pros and cons when it comes to the internet AIS.
We want to be able to give our users the best experience possible with regard to AIS, and there is some prior art in that space with the internet AIS. So if we commit to internet AIS, we probably would not be able to do NEMA AIS as well, because of the technologies that are involved. Unless we could make the agreements with the companies that own the ability to do that. So I'm not going to shoot it down and say no, but I think for right now we probably, and I may be speaking out of turn, Jeff, but I think we're going to concentrate on the hardware side for right now, and getting the NEMA side of this working, and if we can pull in other sources in the future, we will.
We are, and I think there's a concern that we have and you've had that the internet AIS sometimes can be delayed, and that is a safety issue in terms of getting it real time.
Exactly. Let's see. We have another question here. They just keep coming in. Patrick's asking, how does that data get to the phone? Bluetooth? No, it's generally Wi-Fi. There may be some. What you're going to need is a NEMA gateway, an NMEA gateway. And they come in several flavors. You can get ones that have built-in Wi-Fi. You can have them that have built-in Ethernet. So if you have an existing Wi-Fi network on the boat and you just want to, bring it all together via an Ethernet connection, so you will be looking for that sort of a device. Right now I'm using and testing actually I have it right behind me here. It's the data hub from Predict Wind. It looks like that. and on the bottom here, there are 2 Ethernet ports. The NEMA port is right here. It's got a place for a GPS antenna and USB and power. So this soup to nuts is a great little device. We're looking at all sorts of things, but basically, when we bring it in, you're going to be able to use any off-the-shelf gateway. I think that's the plan. Is it not, Captain Jeff?
Yeah, of course, you've also got to have a NEMA network and an AIS receiver. So,
Right.
yeah, you've got to have a full suite of equipment, which most cruisers do have.
Exactly. Let's see here.
I see a question there on depth numbers.
Yep, there it is.
Yeah. Yes, that's been on the to-do list, and I keep looking at it, and it hasn't moved off the to-do to in progress, but it is next. It is actually the top of the list. So I think in the next week or so, what we're doing is going to give you the ability to adjust the font size, maybe even the boldness of the numbers, and we'll do that on both the mobile app as well as the web app. Because I do know when you zoom in and out, for some people it's fine, but for others it tends to get too small, not easy to see. So yeah, we recognize that, and I hope within the next week or two we'll have something out there for you on that.
Yeah, I mean that it sounds like a simple thing, but because it's happening on a map layer, it's not as simple as it seems. I guess it's just something we have to get through.
I think it's more NEMA and some other features have jumped in front of it, but
well, fair enough.
But it is there.
All right, Mark is using it for fishing on the Ohio River. Cool. How's the fishing up there right now, Mark? Is it? They're
not ice fishing. I know I get a lot of people that say they use it for ice fishing, but
I would imagine
that may still be happening.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, what else do we have in the pipeline, as it was?
Well, something you'll see coming out in the next release. It should be out probably Monday. I mean, I'd love to get it out this weekend, but sometimes releasing on a Saturday isn't the smartest thing. We've updated our boat safety section. I don't know how valuable that is. I think if you're a newer boater, I think you would find it valuable. We've added some new options under our boat courses.
I want to comment on that for a second, Jeff.
Sure.
Because I think a lot of people, if you have a vessel over 12 meters or longer, you are required by law to carry a copy of the rules of the road on your boat. And in Argo, in that safety section in the app that you were just talking about, Jeff, we have access to the PDF of the rules of the road, which will satisfy the carriage requirements under the rules. So I think that's a pretty cool thing. I don't think there are any other boating apps right now that are giving you that kind of access and satisfying a very important legal requirement that you have aboard. So sorry to interrupt, but I
no, that's good. If you haven't checked it out, go under the menu and check out our boat safety and education section. I think we got some pretty cool things in there. And it actually was a user that recommended we add the U.S. Coast Guard boat courses. And when we did that, we realized we probably should include Boat US and also, and I don't know if there's a pronunciation for this acronym, but NASBLA. What's it?
It's NASBLA. Yeah.
NASBLA. Yeah. Yeah. Don't ask me to spell out that acronym, but it is a great option for state by state courses.
Exactly. We have a beta test group coming together, don't we?
We do. We put out an ask, I guess, for people to fill out a survey, sort of an application per se. We received over 100, close to 120 responses. We were looking for kind of a manageable number of 50 to 80, but I feel bad about turning anyone away if you want to help us out. So if you did respond, you'll be hearing from us soon. My developer actually wanted to get going right away because I don't think it's that difficult for us to get you set up so that you can test, just like Dave's going to be testing the NEMA tonight, start to test some of the features that we plan to come out in the next release before we actually release it. Obviously, we will love everybody testing the app once we release it as well, but for those who want to check things out before they act. Now, given the fact that it is a beta test, it's not been fully vetted by us, by our QA team.
We have a new question from Sailing Newbie. Does the desktop version have all the same features as the app?
That's a good question. Yeah. No, it doesn't. It came out many years after our mobile app, so it's well behind it. It may never have all of the features. What we focused on is making sure it has the planning features for, creating a route, for saving it to your captain's log, for taking a look at any of the places you might want to go, add reviews. But let me back up. Speaking of routing, we introduced the ability to add waypoints on the mobile app, and we've been trying to catch up on the web app the last 3 or 4 weeks. So if you've been trying to create routes on the web app, you've been trying to maybe add waypoints, it probably hasn't worked perfectly because it's not done yet. But we're real close. I was talking to a developer this week. We're trying to get him to fix a few things, and then it will mirror pretty much what we have on the mobile version. There's some other things, obviously we don't have the social features on the web app. I don't think you can, at this point, check out any voyages or tracks that you've taken in your captain's log. The captain's log really just has your routes, but not to say we're not going to add that. We just haven't gotten to it yet. So, anything that, particularly if you're a big user of the web app and you want to see things, let us know. It kind of helps push it up in the priority.
All right. Well, I guess that's it for the questions at the moment. Have we covered basically what's coming up and what's changed recently?
We got a few more things. One of the issues, and I don't know if it affects anyone here, but we've had issues where someone with a tablet, an iPad, or a smaller Android device, they turn it to landscape and they lose the top bar. The problem is it thinks for some reason that it's a phone. Maybe it's a tablet that our app isn't recognizing. It's a smaller tablet. That is something that we fixed, but you need to go into settings. I was working with someone today on that. Under our settings, there's something called device settings, and you pretty much have to force it to say, this is a tablet, don't act like a phone. Because on our phone, we've got it set up where you can actually go in landscape mode. And because it's just such a small, area, we've eliminated some of the bars just so that you're seeing all map. But obviously, if you're on a tablet, you don't need that. So under settings, device settings, you can force it to be a tablet if you're finding some crazy things going on when you put it in landscape mode.
All right. Liberty Trawler is asking if we've considered allowing for Argo to be installed on a Mac, such as the way that Aquamap does on an Intel, not an Intel Mac, but one of the Apple Silicon Macs. This is something that I've been pushing for a while. I don't think it makes sense for us to have it yet, but it will make sense once we have NMEA in the app, and at that point, it will be able to get location data from your NMEA network. I don't know if I've convinced Captain Jeff that we should do this yet, but it's on my hit list. What do we think? What's the official word, Jeff?
You can add it to the to-do list, but we have a lot on our plans. Yeah, again, I think someone asking about it, that helps. We start to sense that our user base wants a feature, it definitely pushes it up in our priorities.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, I believe it's a simple switch throw in the development platform. allow it to run on Apple Silicon Macs, because there is not very much difference between iOS and the Mac OS at this point.
Well,
They're
it
running
sounds
on the
like a
same board.
takeaway from the meeting here. We'll check on that. If it's something easy, we'll turn the switch.
All right, I like it.
We
I
got
like it.
another question about waypoints on the desktop. Yes, you should be able to edit waypoints, but again, we're in the process of still finalizing how, to make sure that it works the way it works on the mobile app. So I can certainly take your name and reach out to you and let you know. I don't think I have time here tonight to pull up the desktop and demo anything. And the last time I checked, yes, we did have something working regarding editing a waypoint. I just don't know how well it was working.
Well, there you have it.
The only
What
thing
else?
that I didn't mention, one last thing, I guess, unless we get other questions. Dave and I, we get a lot of people reporting issues when they create a route or taking a track. We're going to be putting out a new feature, which when you're saving that route, saving that track, you can report an issue to us. So there'll be a button that just says report issue. And then you can describe, what was going on with that route that didn't seem right. And it will go right to Dave and I. So you don't have to take a screenshot. You don't have to, reach out to us by email. Right through the app, you can report, you see something odd with the route that you're creating. I think that's it. Because like I said, we have a lot going on. There may be a few things that I even forgot about, but we can catch you up next month.
I'm going to admit right now that my internet connection is poor enough here that I have no idea what you're saying anymore, Jeff.
Well, I think the rest of the participants here heard me, and I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Hopefully you learned something, and if you have questions, you didn't get them answered tonight, send us an email. Dave and I are happy to help you out.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you,
right.
Jeff.
All right. Good night.
I'm going to hit end on this stream because I think this is the time, right? I can end the stream.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Bye, everyone. Thanks.